Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Nice to have you here. I'm Rachel, if anybody has popped in that I haven't met yet. 45 minutes of full body Pilates mat work. We're going to be doing core, little shoulder, lots of range of motion, some hip work, and some balancing. If you have any issues during the class, absolutely feel free to close your eyes, stop what you're doing if it doesn't feel good. And then you're welcome to email me if you have questions afterwards about anything we're doing. The email is Rachel, RACHEL, at agilept.com. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'll set my timer. We got our 45 minutes going real soon. And we're going to start sitting on our mat. You guys are welcome to have shoes on or be barefoot. Generally, I'll do this class barefoot. I got a sore toe, so I got my shoes on today. Do what works for you. We're going to get our weight lined up with ourselves seated cross-legged. We're going to try to get our weight at the very front of our sit bones. So go ahead and shift your weight around just a touch if you need to. We're going to sit up nice and tall with the crown of the head reaching all the way up toward the ceiling. Now, if this hip position doesn't feel great for you, absolutely feel free to move your feet in front. We're going to start up nice and tall. Let's get the sensation that we're lifting our ribs up off of our hips. Okay, that'll give us a little space between the bottom of the ribs and the top of that pelvis. We're going to take our hands down toward the floor. And let's let our fingertips or the heels of our hands press down into the mat, depending on how long your arms are. We're just going to give a little pressure down to the mat and outward, kind of out toward the outer edges of the mat. If it's your fingertips, they're just gently pressing out toward that outer edge of the mat. You're going to feel some work on those underarm muscles right at the sides of the shoulder blades. We're going to gently press down and out toward the outer borders of your mat. That crown of the head still reaching up toward the ceiling as we take a big breath in. Exhale. Good. Again, big breath in. Exhale, drawing that belly gently back toward the spine, like you're tightening a little seatbelt to muscles right between your two hip bones. Breathe it in one more time. And as we exhale, we're going to take a nice tall side bend toward one top corner of the room. Reach an arm up. Elbow can be bent if you need to take a little slack back into the system. We're going to bend the supporting elbow into your side and reach that overhead arm all the way toward the top corner of the room. Big breath in, arm comes down by the hips. And as we exhale, we'll reverse it to the other side. Press that supporting hand into the floor. Reach that opposite arm up and over toward the top corner. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend the other way. We'll do one more on each side. And the main focus of this one is elongation. We don't have to go super far over to the side. We're trying to keep our ribs lifted up off those hips. Inhale back to the center. And we'll exhale, taking another side bend the opposite direction. Good. Let's bring those hands down by our sides again, and we'll roll those shoulders back and down. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's squeeze those shoulder blades together, feeling those collarbones come away from the center of the body. And we could flip our palms so they face the screen if you'd like. Let's take those hands slightly back behind the body. We're going to get a nice little stretch across the front of the chest. Big breath in. Exhale, fingertips toward the floor. One more time. Big breath in. Exhale, fingertips toward the floor, hands toward the wall behind us. All right, let's bring those arms down. Give those shoulders a couple little shrugs, a couple little shakes, and we're gonna make our way down onto our backs. So we'll lie down lengthwise on that mat. We're gonna line our heels up with our sit bones. So knees, feet, and hips are equal distance apart with those thighs parallel to each other. And those kneecaps are pointing straight forward to where the wall and the ceiling meet in front of us. We're going to press those hands down into the floor and widen our collarbones away from the center of the body. As you do so, you'll feel a little stretch through the front of the chest, and we're going to feel those shoulder blades and the middle back press firmly into the floor. Let's nod the chin gently toward the neck, draw that belly toward the spine, and we're going to unweight that foot closest to the screen. Just lift it up an inch or so off the floor. Opposite foot presses into the mat. We lift our leg up to tabletop. Float it back down, switch it up. Unweight that other leg. Float it to tabletop, shin parallel to the ceiling, float it back down. We're keeping our hip bones pointed like headlights to the ceiling, and let's alternate, lifting side and then shifting to the other side. Maybe floating our hands up off the mat, reaching those fingertips toward the wall in front of us. We want to keep that belly drawn down and picture those core muscles controlling that lifting leg as we fold it up to our tabletop position. Switch for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. We're going to pause with that one shin parallel to the ceiling. Press those hands into the floor, draw that belly down a little closer to the mat, and let's see if we can bring our other knee up to meet that first leg in tabletop. Hold it there. If it doesn't feel great on your back, pull the knees a little closer to your shoulders or take one foot back down for a kickstand. We're gonna hold there. And let's take our hands right to the front of our thighs. Press those hands and thighs together toward each other until you feel some additional activation in the front of the trunk. You'll feel your hips a little bit, but as we press those hands and knees firmly toward each other, matching each's resistance with the other, you'll feel some muscles working from breastbone all the way down to that pubic bone. Nod that chin toward the neck, and let's straighten and bend our knees. Inhale, straighten them. Exhale, bend back to tabletop. We're keeping those thighs nice and vertical, continuing to give that pressure through the thighs, and straighten up to that first point of resistance behind those thighs. We get a little length to the hamstrings as we use those quads to straighten and bend the knees. Let's repeat here. Straighten and bend for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Straighten those knees, bend them back to tabletop. Let's take our hands by our sides, hover them slightly up off the floor, and let's stretch them toward the wall in front of us. Nod the chin. And if you'd like to lift the back of the head off the mat, keeping that chin nice and tucked, you're welcome to do so. Straighten the legs, we'll move into our hundreds. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. Press that floor away. Bounce up and down with those hands like you're bouncing little basketballs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. We could always make it more challenging by straightening those legs a little closer to the wall in front of us. We could take it a step back by giving ourselves a kickstand. Breathe it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Flip those palms over. We'll press that air to the ceiling. Keep it going. Breathe it in. And exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2 more breaths this way. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn those palms over to face the floor, stretching those fingertips toward the wall. Bend the knees to tabletop from wherever they've been, and we'll lower that upper body down if it's been lifted. Let's keep that belly drawn in, give those knees a hug into the chest. Keep them there, and let's roll our shoulders back and down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop those shoulders toward the hips, and let's look side to side. Look over one shoulder, look over the other shoulder. Take that head right to the middle. We'll keep a hold of that knee closest to the screen and stretch that opposite leg out along the mat, tightening up the front of the thigh until you feel a nice stretch through that hip flexor. Good, hold it there. Let's hang on to that bent in shin, nod the chin. And if you'd like to lift that head up, you're welcome to, hovering it up off the mat. Let's float that straight leg up off the floor, just a couple inches up, and take it side to side. Draw a horizontal line on the wall in front of you. Good. 2 more, keep those toes pulled as far away from the crown of the head as you can. Stretch that leg forward. Let's move it in small circles, moving out of that hip joint. Again, head could be lifted or lowered, whatever's working for you. You want to feel the front of your neck doing some work here. Let's circle that leg the opposite direction. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch that straight leg all the way to the mat. Keep the other knee pulled in. We'll lower that upper body if it's been lifted. And let's again look side to side. Let's look back to the ceiling, roll those shoulders back and down. And with that belly drawn in, let's pull that straight leg in to meet the bent knee. And we'll slide the opposite leg out toward the wall in front of us, tightening up that thigh. Let's nod the chin, hover that heel up off the floor on that straight leg side. And if you'd like to lift the head, now's a great time to do so. Take that straight leg side to side. We're moving from that hip joint, keeping the rest of the body as still as we can. Good, one more time, out to the side. Back to the center, circle for 4. Reach those toes away from your head. There's 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it. Circle for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Again, we'll lower that leg to the mat. Curl that upper body down if it's been lifted. Let's nod that chin toward the ceiling. Nod it back down to the neck. One more time, nod the chin to the ceiling. Nod it back down to the neck. Keep that supporting leg on the floor, and we're going to hang on behind our other thigh and straighten that leg up toward the ceiling to that first point of resistance behind that thigh. Let's flex and point through that ankle joint. Keep that belly drawn in just a touch, enough to keep that pelvis nice and still and those hips facing the ceiling. We'll point those toes, and let's anchor our arms down into the mat, pressing our shoulder blades down as well. Let's take that lifted leg side to side toward the screen and away. Move it through a range where you can control, keeping those hip bones pointed like headlights right up to the ceiling. Good, side to side, head stays nice and still. And let's circle. We'll move from those toes If that knee is a bit more bent, which is fine to put some slack back in your system, we're moving as if there's a pencil taking that kneecap all the way up to trace that circle on the ceiling. Pause at the top, take a big breath in. Exhaling, we can circle the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3. Last 2, good job. And 1, we'll bend that knee into the chest, give it a little hug. Let's reverse it. Let's take that opposite knee in. Stretch that leg we just stretched out long along the mat. Hang on behind that other thigh and we'll stretch up to that first point of hamstrings resistance. Roll the shoulders back and down, keep them nice and active, and we'll flex and point that ankle. Reach those toes to the ceiling as best you can. Point those toes, take that belly, draw it in a little further. We'll take our arms down to the sides and that lifted leg goes side to side. Feel how those shoulder blades, those arms, those hands can help keep that trunk nice and still. It's a little bit of an assist. What's nice is it pulls in the muscles that you need to use to help stabilize that trunk on moving legs. All right, reaching up to the ceiling, we'll take a breath in. And as we exhale, let's move that leg through circles. Again, adjust your knee position. If you need to bend it a little more, straighten it a little more. It might loosen up a bit as we go. One more circle, we'll pause at the top for an inhale. And let's exhale and circle the other way. Here's 4. Reach from that toe or from that knee up toward the ceiling. There's 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's bend that supporting knee to tabletop. Hang on to that kneecap with your hand. We're going to draw the belly in a little further. Bring the other knee up to meet that lifted leg in tabletop. Hold them there. We can hold on to those knees, kind of unweight the thighs a little bit as we rock side to side. All right, draw that belly down. Let's hang on behind those thighs, give a little sling to them. Roll the shoulders back and down, and let's straighten both legs up to that point of resistance, just like we did when we were pressing through our thighs earlier on in class. We're gonna hold them there and then glue those ankle bones together. Keeping that belly down, let's press our hands down by our sides, and let's rock both legs toward the screen. Rock both legs away. Rock them toward and rock them away. Those knees could be straight. They could be bent just a touch. They could be all the way bent down to that tabletop position. We're going to lift up our hip just a slight touch on the side we're moving away from. And then maybe we challenge ourselves, challenge that core by hovering those hands up off the mat just a bit. One more time, side to side. And then keep those feet glued together. Let's make some counterclockwise circles on the ceiling. If those knees are bent, we're drawing that line from those kneecaps. Still doing our best to drive that motion from those hips. Pause at the top, breathing in. And as we exhale, we'll circle the other way. Here's 4, 3. Last 2, nice job. And 1. Pause with the legs to the ceiling. We should feel those side muscles working quite a bit. We're gonna open those feet out first to a narrow V. Shins are probably a foot away from each other. Inhale, bring them together. Exhale, open a bit wider. Inhale together. Exhale, open as best you can. Feel those inner thighs stretch out. We'll inhale, bring them together. 4 more through the range that you have. Inhale together. Exhale, open. Inhale together. Last 2, nice work. Inhale up. Last time, exhale, open. Inhale them together. We're gonna bend those knees, place those feet back down on the floor, release that back into the mat, and let's rock those knees side to side. Keep those shoulder blades pressed down on the mat. So we're rocking side to side from right below that belly button. Inhale and exhale. Nice work. Let's take those knees to the ceiling. We'll draw that belly down again, tighten that seat belt of muscles. We're gonna rock our pelvis through a flat and then to an arched position. Picture a clock face, 12 o'clock by that breastbone, 6 o'clock by that pubic bone. Let's rock that pelvis from 12 to 6. Keep the chin knotted down, keep that breastbone down. So the things that are moving, everything that's moving is lumbar spine or lower. Let's take that pelvis back to neutral. We'll picture 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on that analog clock, one to either side. Rock that pelvis toward 3 o'clock, belly button toward the screen. Rock toward 9. Good, rock to 3, rock to 9. We're letting those knees piston somewhat up and forward toward the wall in front of us to keep those thighs parallel to each other. Rock to 3 and rock to 9. Good, take it right back to the middle, big breath in. Exhale, belly to spine. Let's bring those arms all the way up to the ceiling. We're gonna lift our toes up and move our heels just a slight bit further away from those sit bones. You should feel some activity through that core if your belly's drawn back. We're gonna take our shoulder blades, reach them up to the ceiling, and then drop them to the floor. Inhale, reach them to the ceiling, exhale, lower. Keep that pattern going at your own speed. If you wanna make it more challenging, we'll come back up to tabletop. We're gonna make our way up eventually to that tabletop position. Let's take those shoulder blades up and down for 4. Reach and lower for 3. Reach and lower for 2. One more time, lift those blades up, fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, shoulder blades down, and we're gonna take that arm farthest from the screen back overhead as we press our opposite leg forward. Inhale to tabletop, arm to the ceiling, exhale and switch. And we can rock through those angles, those diagonals at a speed that's working for you. I want you to think about inhaling as we come back to our starting position and exhaling to facilitate that trunk stability as we lengthen through our diagonals. Feet could be flexed or pointed. I'm flexing mine just to give them something different. We've been pointing for a while. One more time to each side. All right, we're gonna hover that outstretched leg down just slightly off the floor. We'll hold on behind the other thigh, and let's lift back up to that hamstring stretch with that leg that's being held onto with our hands. We're gonna draw that belly down, point those toes, and nod that chin toward the neck. Maybe we lift the head and curl that upper body up. That's up to you. Let's move through our single straight leg stretch. Opposite leg comes up. Control it as the other one comes down. Lift and switch. Nice work. Lift and switch. Keep it going. If those knees need to be bent, that's okay. Keep them bent the whole way, bent the same amount, the whole arc of movement. Switch them for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Good. Let's come right back to that tabletop position, supporting the back of the thighs. We'll curl that upper body down, pull those knees into the chest, and let's rock that body side to side. Big breath in and big breath out. All right, coming back to the middle, roll those shoulders back and down. We'll take our heels down, lining them up again with our sit bones, and let's float those arms down, reaching our fingertips toward our feet. Big breath in again. Exhale, belly to spine. Press those heels through the floor. We're gonna squeeze our glutes, lift up into bridge. Find, again, that first point of resistance, this time to the front of the thighs. Inhale at the top, exhale, control down. Good, release the glutes when those tailbones touch the mat. Big breath in, exhale, bridge it up. Let's move through at your own pace. Goals here are to keep the belly and spine drawn toward each other, to keep those thighs parallel and those knees reaching toward the wall in front of us, and to really squeeze from those glutes versus only from the hamstrings as we come up to the top. If you tend to cramp in the hamstrings, lift your toes off the mat and press your feet down and forward. That'll keep the motion a little more in the quads, a little more in the glutes. All right, we're gonna hold our next bridge at the top. See if you can place those feet back down or those toes back down rather, if they've been lifted. We're gonna pulse those hips to the ceiling. Squeeze and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it at the top for a breath in. Exhale, control back down. Release those glutes at the bottom. Take a big breath in again. Exhale, belly to spine, press back up to the ridge and hold it. We're gonna lower that hip closest to the screen, lower it down toward the mat, rotating through those hips. Inhale up, exhale, switch. Inhale, lift, exhale, rotate. Inhale, lift, exhale, rotate. Let's switch it side to side for 4, for 3. Feel those thighs working to keep you lifted. And 1, take those hips to the ceiling, breathing in, exhale, bridge it down. Release, take those knees side to side. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more time, big breath in and big breath out. Let's bring those knees to the ceiling. Inhale one more time. Exhale, press those heels down, lift up into bridge and hold. Let's press our toes down, press those hands into the mat. We're gonna go up and down on our toes, lift the heels and lower, lift and lower. Keep that going. We're doing just a little bit of weight shift, getting a little different input toward the back of those thighs. If you cramp in your hamstrings with this, feel free to lift your toes instead of lifting your heels. Take it up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Press the heels down, big breath in. Exhale, bridge it down. Release those glutes at the bottom. Again, those knees go side to side for 4, for 3, final 2. And 1. Take it right back to the middle. We're going to take that ankle farthest from the screen, cross it over to the near knee. We're using that heel for a little bit of stability. That heel is going to keep our pelvis as nice and stable as we press. If you've been cramping in your hamstrings, press your hands a little more firmly into the mat. Lift the toes on the side of that weight-bearing foot. We're going to take a big breath in, press that heel through the floor, squeeze and lift into single leg bridge. Lower that hip down. Squeeze and lift. Keep that going. Try at your own pace. Play around with squeezing that top ankle bone, pressing it a little more firmly into the knee, taking pressure off the back of that thigh. You could play around with a tabletop position if it's not challenging for you. Lift and lower for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take that supporting hip down, switch up those legs. Heel that was just crossed over is going to be now on the floor. Opposite ankle crosses to your supporting knee. We could press that knee out to the side a bit if you needed a little more stability. And we're going to drive that heel into the floor, squeeze that glute, lift up into bridge, lower it down. Lift and lower at your own speed. Again, lifting those toes if you need to take that force back into the glutes versus the hamstrings. Keep taking it up and down. We could move into tabletop with that other side if you wanted to challenge it further. Take it up and down for 3. Press for 2. And 1. Good. Take that knee down. We're going to cross that ankle over to the other knee. Press that crossed over knee out to the side just a touch. Big breath in. As we exhale, we could lift into figure 4 stretch if you'd like, and if you have the mobility for it. Regardless, we're going to gently rock that body away from our cross leg side. Open up into those short rotators. You're going to feel your butt muscles stretching out. Hold it there. Big breath in. Good. Exhale. Come back to the middle. We'll uncross. Opposite heel to the ankle. Opposite heel to the knee. I don't know how you'd bring your heel to the ankle. Lift up into figure 4 if you can. Hold it there. And we'll rock the body away from that cross leg side. Good. Big breath in. As we exhale, draw that belly in. Let's take our bodies right back to the center. We're going to uncross those legs and place those feet down on the floor. As those hands come down to the mat, I want you to pay attention to what's touching the floor and what's not right now. You should have the back of your head, your middle back, and that sacrum, that wedge bone right underneath the lowest part of the low back, resting on the floor. Heels are down, toes are pressing into the floor as well. Draw the belly down toward the spine just a touch. And I want you to think about taking the lowest part of your breastbone, dropping it down toward the floor a bit. That's going to give a little bit more heaviness to the middle part of the back. It's going to press the back of those ribs firmly into the floor. Hold it there. Straighten out one leg as best you can. Can you keep that leg straight while maintaining those same connections? That hand can go right to your hip bone. Maybe we can straighten that other leg out as well. Keep that belly drawn to the spine to keep that pelvis nice and supported. All right, we're going to take our arms to the ceiling. Hold them there. If for some reason it's really hard to control that arch and you feel like your breastbone's popping up, you could bend those knees a bit. That's up to you. We're going to take a breath here, and whether those knees are straight or bent, let's take those arms back. Find the first point of resistance that you feel under those armpits. We'll inhale the arms to the ceiling. Exhale them back. Inhale them up. One more time. Exhale them back. Middle back between those blades stays on the floor. Inhale, arms to the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to open them out to a T. Try to get the backs of the hands toward the mat. Inhale them to the ceiling. Exhale and open. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale and open. Hold them there. Maybe they pause a couple inches up off the mat. That's okay. We're going to move through some snow angels. Keep that belly drawn down. If you need to bend your knees to take pressure off your back, you're welcome to do so. We're going to inhale, taking those arms up overhead, palms face the ceiling. Exhale, arms out to the T and down by the body. Let's take them up and down, almost like we're doing jumping jacks with our upper bodies. Take them as far away from the mat as you need to. This is mobilizing those tissues around the backs of the shoulder blades and also really giving a stretch to the front of the shoulders, front of that chest. You go through a range that's feeling good. Arms come down by the sides. Let's turn our palms over to the floor, bend up those knees, take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to rock that pelvic clock from 12 to 6, 12 to 6, and 12 to 6. Take it back to neutral. Rock that pelvis from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Again, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. One final time, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Take them back to neutral. And we're going to turn over to make our way to hands and knees. If you do need extra padding, feel free to double your mat over. Or if you have a rolled towel or pillow, you're welcome to put that right up at the top of your shins as well. We're going to line up on all fours. Wrists and shoulders, knees and hips are lined up. Draw the belly and the spine gently toward each other. And we're going to keep the curve in the neck and the curve in the low back the same. If you had something balanced in those curves, we want to keep those nice and still as we rock through our next sequence of exercises. Keeping the belly drawn in, we're going to rock the bottom back toward the heels. The alignment through the trunk and the head stay the same. Inhale, back up to all fours. Exhale, rock that bottom back to the heels. Inhale, back up to all fours. One more time, rock it back. Inhale to all fours, and let's shift our weight toward the screen and away, pressing the floor away with the heels of the hands and also with those knees or those shins if you're on that padded surface. Let's make some little circles around that base of support. Press the floor away with the hands. Let those hands guide your motion. Let's circle the other way. Again, if you had that object balanced in the small of your back, balanced in the curve of your neck, could you keep it nice and still? All right, let's come right back to the middle. Keep that belly drawn down. Let's move through cat and cow. Curl that pelvis, looking toward those thighs. Release, tailbone to the ceiling, look forward. Curl to cat, release to cow. Upper body is going to stay fairly neutral. This is a more of a pelvic cat and cow versus getting that upper back doing too much. We're going to come right back to neutral here. And let's take that hand closest to the screen. Bend that elbow, tap it to your other shoulder. Float the hand back down, switch, tap the other shoulder. Switch it back and forth. Again, with that goal of keeping whatever you had balanced in the curve of your neck and the small of your back, nice and still. As we shift from arm to arm, you should feel some side muscles activating. If it's not challenging enough, we come forward to a plank on the knees. Tap those shoulders for 4, for 3. Good job. For 2. It's hard to keep the knees down sometimes. All right, we'll bring ourselves back to all fours, hold it here, and let's squeeze and press our shoulder blades. Elbows are gonna stay still. They don't have to be locked out, but we wanna keep them the same angle throughout that shoulder blade movement. Good job. Squeeze and press for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Press those blades to the floor. Let's move to single arm if you can. If it doesn't feel great, keep both hands down. Well, otherwise, we'll take one hand up to the thigh. Shoulders stay squared off to the mat. Squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. Here's 4. Here's 3. I get tired after about 5 of them. There's 2. And 1, switch it up. Other hand comes down. Again, assess your situation. If you want to try the single arm, again, we squeeze and press. Shoulders stay squared off to the floor. Squeeze and press for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that second hand to the floor. We'll rock the bottom back to the heels. Get off those wrists for a second. Shake them out. Good. Big breath in. Exhaling, we'll come right back up to all fours. Keep that belly drawn in. We'll move into our bird dogs. We're going to take those shoulder blades, press them to the mat. Draw one leg back behind the body, stretch it out, and the opposite arm comes forward. Again, that object I've been talking about stays balanced on the back and on the neck. Switch it up and reach. Switch and reach. Nice one. Switch for 4. Switch for 3. Last 2. Last 1. All right, let's take the hands down and the knees down. We're going to shift our body away from our screen. If you're facing horizontally toward the screen, we're going to shift our body to one side. One leg comes back behind the body, and that same side arm lifts up in front. Hold it there. If you need to keep your fingertips down, that's okay. Good work. Switch it up to the other side. Shift toward the other side of your mat. Same side arm and leg lift. Switch and lift. Switch and lift. Good. All right, back to hands and knees, cat and cow, curl and release. Take it back to the middle, wag your tail side to side, do a little side bend from the bottom up, shoulder stay still, hip folds to shoulder. All right, take those hips back to neutral. We're gonna bring our forearms down to the mat. Upper arms are vertical, head is lower than your hips. If this doesn't feel good, if it makes you dizzy or gives you a headache, bring yourself right back to all fours. We're gonna keep those knees bent. We're gonna take that One leg, press it up to the ceiling, keep it bent, and then bend that knee down toward the floor. Press to the ceiling, control it down. Press, control it down. One more time, press it up, control it down. Bring it up to the ceiling, and let's straighten and bend that knee. Hamstring curls for 4, for 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. Stretch that leg out straight. We'll touch the toes down to the mat. Straight leg lifts. Touch them down and lift. 2 more. Last one, lower, lift. Lower it down to the mat. Hover those toes just slightly up off the floor. We'll take it side to side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring that leg back in line with the body. Bring it back down to the mat. Switch it up. Opposite knee stays bent. Press it up to the ceiling. Control it to the mat. Press it up. Control it down. Press it up. And lower. One more time. Press it up. Lower it down. Press to the ceiling. Hold it there. Thighs stay still. Hamstring curl. Straighten and bend for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Stretch that leg out straight. Hold it there. Good. Lower that foot toward the mat. Take it side to side. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Stretch it back. We'll touch the toe down. Straighten and lift. Lower it down. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Let's touch those toes. Bend that knee in. Feet come together. Knees come apart. Press that bottom back toward the heels. And we'll walk our hands toward the front of the mat. Again, just like we did on our backs, we want to go to that first point of resistance through those side muscles. It could be the armpit. It could be your lats on those sides. If you feel a big pull in the armpits, take the pressure off. You can take those forearms to the mat. If you feel a nice stretch through the sides of those shoulder blades, maybe we go with it and push through a little bit more. We're going to take those shoulder blades, press them down to the floor, and then drop that forehead down as well. Big breath in. Breathing out, let's walk our hands toward the screen and take another big breath in. Exhaling, let's walk our hands through the middle and over to the other side. Hand over hand, take a big breath in. Exhale, walk those hands to the front of the mat. We're going to drop our forearms. We're going to shift our weight forward over those arms. And then let's take our legs back behind the body. We're going to rest on those upper thighs just below our hip bones. Draw the belly in toward the spine so those hips stay pressed off the floor. We could even tuck that pelvis toward that 12 o'clock position to take some stress off the lower back and to really keep that into the core. We're going to hold it there. Big breath in. As we exhale, bend one knee, kick your heel towards your bottom. Straighten it out and switch. Switch it up, keep it going. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten those legs out, big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to come down, bring our hands right underneath those shoulders, press up to our hands and knees, and rock through cat and cow, curling and releasing. Again, curl it up and release. One final time, curl to cat, release to cow. Take it back to neutral, and let's come up into tall kneeling. We're going to turn and face the screen if you're not already facing the screen. And if you need more padding, add that towel roll, double up that mat if you need it. We're going to bring our knees a little bit farther apart from each other. Knees and hips are lined up. Fingertips are going to stretch toward the floor. And let's do a couple shrugs. We'll shrug the shoulders toward the ears, shrug them down toward the hips. Again, shrug and unshrug. One more time, shrug them up. Reach them down. Let's take those arms all the way up to the ceiling. As our fingertips come up, our shoulder blades drop a little closer to the floor. Let's take a tall side bend. Up and over, much like what we did in the beginning of the class when we were sitting cross-legged. Inhale up, exhale, elongate over toward that top corner. One more time, inhale over. One more time to the other side. All right, arms to the ceiling. We're going to float them forward and down by our sides. Let's take our hands to our hips, and we're going to open one leg out to the side. We could start with our heel lined up with our bum. If you tend to cramp in the side of that straight leg though, I want you to bring your foot a little farther forward in front of your body. I think we talked about this after class last time. We're going to keep our hands right on the hips, drop that hip on the straight leg side until you're squared off, and you're going to feel that inner thigh stretch a little bit. And we're going to hinge and bend the tailbone back and the crown of the head toward the wall or toward the screen in front of you. Feel that inner thigh open up. Inhale up tall and exhale, hinge. Again, if you feel that cramping, definitely adjust your leg position. I really find that it's helpful. It just clears the joints a bit if you take that foot forward a bit more. Good. Stay up nice and tall. Squeeze those glutes when you come up top, and we'll bring our arms out to the side. Big breath in. As we exhale, side bend toward that bent knee. We could lift that other foot if you'd like, and then we'll take it up and over to the other side. Nice stretch. Good. Inhale up, exhale and side bend. Inhale up, exhale, side bend. One more time. Side bend and reach. Hold that leg up there if you can. Maybe we pulse it. Good. All right, let's come up tall. We'll side bend toward that straight leg one more time. And then let's bring ourselves upright. Move through that tall kneeling position over to the other side. And again, add that padding under your knees if you need more. We might find this hip to be different than the other side. Sometimes it's not uncommon for those two hips to be a little bit different from each other. Again, adjust that foot position if you need to, and we'll square those hips off by dropping that pelvis down on the straight leg side. Big breath in. Exhale, hinge, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Inhale up tall. And exhale, hinge forward. Inhale up tall. Exhale and hinge. Inhale up tall. One more time here. Hinge it forward. Breathe in, come up nice and tall. Float those arms out to the side. One more big breath in here. Exhale, side bend toward that bent knee. Inhale up and over. Again, side bend and reach. Take it up and over. Good. Let's side bend and reach. Hold it there this time. Pulse that leg up and down if you can. Otherwise, holding, lengthening the hand away from that body is what we're working for. All right, let's come up. We'll side bend toward that straight leg one more time. And then let's bring our arms down by our sides, bend up those knees and roll those shoulders back and down. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn those palms so they face our screen. We're going to take the hands back slightly behind the body, and let's just look side to side, over one shoulder and over the other. And repeat. Look over one shoulder and look over the other. Take them right back to the middle. We're going to squeeze those blades, pulse them back to the wall behind you for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's arc those arms up overhead. Let's bring them down in front of us, and we're going to make our way all the way down to our sides. Get those glutes working a little bit more. So we'll rest on one arm. Knees are going to be forward, heels are lined up on the bottom. If your underarm is sensitive at all, you may want to have a pillow or something resting that you can kind of press into on that side just for a little extra padding. We're going to stay on our sides. We're going to lift up that waistline, lift it enough that I could drive a little Hot Wheels car right underneath it. We're going to keep our hand, top hand pressed into the mat. Feet stay down, lift those knees toward the ceiling. We're using that top hand to get that core active. Good. Lift those knees up and down. 2 more. Knees come down. Press that top leg into the floor, or bottom leg into the floor rather. Top knee comes up and down, feet stay still. Good. Keep that waistline lifted. Hands could be at the front of the belly if you'd like to monitor your core. Could be at your hip if you want to monitor that pelvis for stability. Good. 2 more times. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. All right. Knees stay down. Lift those feet. Once those feet are lifted again, we'll take that top knee up and down, keeping that waistline up off the mat. Clear it for the Hot Wheels. Good. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees and feet come down. Press that bottom leg into the floor. Lift that top bent knee. Fire hydrants. Take it up and down. Feel that top glute working. Good. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Top knee to hip height. Swing it forward toward the shoulder. Swing that bent knee back toward the wall. Swing it forward. Press it back twice more. Swing it forward and press forward. Press it back. Hold it there. We're going to straighten out our bottom leg. Straighten out that top leg so it's slightly behind the bottom one. Top hand can be on the hip. It could be in front for stability. We're going to touch the top toes down behind the bottom leg. Arc them up and touch them in front. Arc them back, keep that waistline lifted. Arc them forward. Twice more, back and forth and back and forth. Let's lift that leg up to hip height. We're gonna circle it forward for 4, 3, 2, reverse it. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Up and down pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bottom leg comes up to glue to the top leg. Both of them come down and up together for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Take them down. Bend those knees up. Give that hip a little pat. All right, when you're ready, let's take it up and over to our other side. Home stretch. We're almost there. All right. Rest on that bottom arm. Give that glute a little massage maybe before we roll all the way onto that side. Okay, knees are bent, heels are lined up with that bottom. Lift that waistline up and we'll press that top hand into the mat. Feet stay down as we lift and lower the knees for 8, 7, good, 6. That top hand pressure is actually an integral part of this exercise. Gets those core muscles working. Here's 4, 3, 2 more, and 1. Knees come down. Press that bottom leg into the mat. Top knee lifts and lowers for 8, 7. Lift up for the Hot Wheels. 6, 5. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down. Feet lift up. Again, that top knee presses up and down. Good. We're moving right from the side of that glute. Here's 4, 3. Control it down. Last 2. And 1. Knees come down, feet come down, top whole leg comes up and down with that knee bent. Good. Keep that waistline lifted. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And 1. Top knee back to hip height. Swing that bent knee forward to the shoulder. Press it back to the wall behind. Top hand could absolutely be down on the mat for a little support, a little stability. We can keep it right at that fold in the hip. Good. One more time. Press it forward. Press it back. Hold it back there. Squeeze that top glute. Straighten that bottom leg out. Straighten the top leg out slightly behind the bottom leg. We'll reset that little Hot Wheel tunnel. Top leg comes down behind. Arc it up. Touch it down in front. Touch it behind. Up and forward. Twice more. Last one. Arc it back. Arc it forward. Let's lift it up to hip height, slightly behind the bottom leg. Circle it forward. Here's 4, 3, 2. Reverse it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bottom leg comes up to meet that top leg. Take them down and up together. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them down. Bend up those knees. Pat that hip out. All right, let's turn to our backs. Take a couple deep breaths here. Appreciate what your body just did. We'll line up our heels up with our sit bones. Let's bring our knees and feet together and take those arms slightly away from the body. Let's shrug those shoulders up to the ears and then lengthen them down toward our hips. Again, breathe in, shoulders to ears. Exhale, press them away. Keep them pressed away and we'll rock those knees side to side toward the screen and away, or toward one hand and then toward the other. Good. One more time to the other side. Take them right back to the middle. We're going to cross one ankle over to the opposite knee. We'll lift up into that figure 4 stretch if you want to add that lift. We'll breathe into those hip openers. Exhale. One more time. Big breath in. Breathe it out. Let's uncross. Do it on the other side. Cross that opposite ankle to knee. Add the lift if you'd like. Hold. Relax into that hip opener on the crossed over leg. Big breath in. Exhale. One more time. Big breath in. And breathe it out. All right, let's bring that foot down. Other foot comes down. We're going to turn ourselves over to hands and knees. One final cat. One final cow. Take it back to neutral. We're going to turn those toes under, walk our hands back toward our feet. We'll make our way up to flat feet. And once your center of gravity is right over the front of those ankles, we can stand up nice and tall with confidence, knowing that we're going to be nice and balanced. Let's stand up. We're going to face our screen. Feet are hip width apart. Stand up nice and tall. Let's shift the weight to one side. Let's stand heel to toe, as if you're about to walk a tightrope. Hold nice and still. Try to get the weight centered between your back toes and your front heel. Hold it there. We're going to look side to side if you'd like to add. If you need a little assistance for balance, absolutely feel free to grab the wall, grab a table. Shift to your back foot. Hold in single leg balance. We're going to hold here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it for 1. If you want to stay here for another 8 counts, you can. If you want to take it further, hinge your body forward. Take that leg back behind the body. Stretch it to the wall behind. Wherever you are, hold for 8, 7, 6. Nice work. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up nice and tall. Take that leg down. Shake them out. Opposite foot comes forward. Let's stand heel to toe. Weight on those back toes, front heel. Let's look side to side. Whoop. Look forward. Shift the weight toward that back leg. We'll come up to single leg balance for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay there for 8 or reshift. Hinge forward with the trunk. Take that leg back. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up nice and tall if you're not already there. Legs come out. Shoulder width apart a little wider. Shake those knees out. Shake those glutes out. Take our arms down. We're going to roll those blades back for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's close with a big breath in. Arms come up and overhead. Palms together, feet together. Let's exhale, hands into the center. All right, we did it, guys. Happy Friday.